Hello, my name is Dr. Patrick McGrath, and I'm the Chief Clinical Officer for NOCD. If you're looking for help for OCD or related conditions, check us out at nocd.com. That's NOCD.com. Today, I wanted to talk about one of the subtypes of OCD that can be a standalone, but we can often talk about it kind of ranging through many of the different experiences of OCD, and that is the just right feeling or experience. People with OCD, of course, would like things to be just right. We can see this with perfectionism, right, where they have to do things in an absolutely certain way, where there could be no judgment of it being negative whatsoever. Of course, we know this to be an impossibility because I don't think there's ever been anything done that all of the billions of people on the planet looked at the same time and went, yep, couldn't have been done any better than that. That was perfect. So the second we attempt to be perfect or to do something just right, they probably fall short. Now, just right doesn't have to be so global as perfectionism. It could be a very internalized kind of experience for ourselves. For example, if I'm religious and saying a prayer, if I don't feel like I said it just right, and therefore it could be rejected by the higher power that I worship, I might want to say it again until it feels like I have actually done it the just right way. Because if it's not just right, guess what? It's just wrong. And I liken it to this notion of throwing darts, right? So let's say we're playing a game of darts, right? And we throw the dart and it hits a triple 20. That's great, right? Highest score you can get. But if you're defining perfection as the very center middle slot on the bullseye, that triple 20 was pretty darn good, but it wasn't just right, and therefore it was actually just wrong. The just right experience doesn't allow for any wavering whatsoever. It is that one pinpoint that is the thing, and everything else is not correct. So I love that imagery of shooting archery or throwing darts or something like that, where if the arrow hits the middle, you've done it. Anywhere else, even though it would be potentially good enough to get you to the Olympics, is just wrong. And it's a hard life to live if you are a just right person, because OCD, being the doubting disorder, being the thing that will always find the flaw, will always look for the fly in the soup or in the ointment, right? It will always find something that you could have done better, which always means you did not do it just right. Pull your car in the garage. Did it feel just right? No, maybe not. Take it out, pull it back in again. That didn't feel just right either. Close the car door. Did that sound just right? No, it didn't have that dunk kind of feeling. It was a little bit different. Maybe it didn't quite latch the right way. I'm going to take it out and I'm going to shut it again and see if maybe this time is the time that it actually does it. So it doesn't matter the subtype of OCD. You can find a just right experience in there. Does this relationship feel just right? Did I keep my hands in my pocket at just the right time in order to be sure that I didn't grab somebody or punch somebody or stab somebody or something of that nature? There would be, I would be hard pressed, I would say, to find an instance where I couldn't find some kind of just right experience in the OCD world. If your goal is to do things just right, then I'm willing to bet lots and lots of money that there's a lot of compulsions that are going on in your life, and you're going to keep doing those compulsions until you finally satisfy the OCD. But when I say the word satisfy, I don't want you to be fooled. That satisfaction is usually only for a few milliseconds to a couple of minutes, and then the cycle starts all over again. If we could truly get something done just right, well, then guess what? We wouldn't have to keep doing compulsions over and over again. We would have satisfied the experience. It would have been just right. It was not, though, just right. Unfortunately, it was just wrong. And that is where OCD keeps people trapped over and over and over. This, therefore, becomes a big place that we want to focus on in therapy. When we're doing exposure and response prevention therapy, there are two parts to that. Part one is we're exposing you to things that are uncomfortable, that are parts of your obsessions, whatever those thoughts, those images, or those urges are. So let's go back to the prayer. If your thought is, I didn't say that prayer just right, and now it will be rejected by a higher power that I worship, and because of that, I will be spending an afterlife in a place that I don't really want to go. You could do a compulsion and say the prayer over again, or you could do response prevention, which might mean not saying the prayer again, or if you do say it again, adding a statement of doubt to it at the end. So after you say, amen, and then you could say, and I don't think I did that quite well enough, but I'll just leave it that way. Or you could even purposely put a mistake into a prayer and leave it there as your offering to your higher power. You have numerous ways to approach this, but what we don't want to do is ever just end on a compulsion. Because if we end on a compulsion, what we've done is we've fed OCD. OCD eats compulsions for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you want OCD to grow, do more compulsions. If you want OCD to go away, do less compulsions. So we have to really get people to be in the discomfort, right? Live with that discomfort. Learn that they can handle the discomfort that comes about by not doing whatever the compulsions are. If compulsions worked, people with OCD wouldn't need therapy. They would be doing great. Compulsions do not work. They keep people stuck, and it is the reason why people with OCD do come to treatment. Some people will approach treatment and say, I never want to have one of these thoughts or images or urges ever again, because they don't feel right at all. And what I say to people is, I wish I knew how to do that, but I don't. We haven't figured out yet how to stop a thought or an image or an urge. So it isn't about not having it. It's about knowing that you can handle it. And once you've learned that you can handle it, even if it's uncomfortable, your life can start to go toward the way you want it to live and move away from the way that OCD wants it to be lived. I hope that's been helpful for you as you understand that influence of the just right experience. No one with OCD has ever, as far as we know, in the history of OCD, done something so absolutely just right that OCD has said, congratulations, that was it, you did it, all is well, I'm going to go now. That has just never happened, and we don't think that it ever will. So here's what we're really looking at. How do I live with being a person, a human, a person who's flawed, who isn't perfect, who is like everybody else, and just goes through their day, hopefully trying the best that they can and acknowledging where things might not have gone well and hopefully learning from those experiences instead of beating themselves up over those experiences as a way to try to make themselves be better. Never once have I suggested to someone a negative kind of motivation where you see where yourself do something that wasn't just right and go, let's beat ourselves up over that for the next 25 hours because I think that would help us. It's not where we want to go. If you've got a kid playing in a sport and they goof up, my hope is that you don't berate them for it. My hope is that you say to them, what can we learn from this so that next time it'll be better? That's how I would want you to approach things as well. Your goal is not perfection. Your goal is not to do things just right. Your goal is to hopefully learn and grow and move toward something. But to me, the point of this journey is not to arrive because anything can happen and you have to be able to handle it. I hope that's been helpful. And if you're looking for somebody to treat you for OCD, especially if there's some just right experiences going on, and you want the help in learning how to handle not living life the way OCD wants in this just right way, well then reach out to us at NOCD.com. That's NOCD.com. We'd be happy to work with you and get you hooked up with an expertly trained therapist who can help you do exposure and response prevention therapy for your specific OCD needs. We hope to hear from you soon.